Welcome to the journey. My name is Kevin Polky, and I am the host of the journey. And we are going to today talk about the upcoming holiday season. And we just have wrapped up with Christmas, or just wrapped up with Thanksgiving, and we're moving into the Christmas. For some individuals, their house may have already been decorated for a time period. I know that in our house. My wife's birthday is at the end of October, and soon, right around as her birthday finishes up, usually right after Halloween, sometimes even a week before. Diane starts putting up Christmas trees and starts doing some decorations around the house, so that by the first week of December, or actually even be as we're finishing up with Thanksgiving, our house is just usually almost completely decorated. I know for me, being able to uh, enjoy all the work that Diane does, putting the house together and really transforming the house into having this Christmas spirit is something that I enjoy. The experience of it. I enjoy being able to look at all the different ornaments and the different decorations that she's put up that I haven't seen for the past year. Every year there seems to be another way of decorating that Diane decides to experiment with as well. One of my favorite times uh, when the Christmas season is happening is to get up early in the morning, uh, either after I work out or on my non-workout days, of being able to just sit in the darkness, except the lights from the tree are being on. There's something about that time period, being able to uh, reflect and contemplate, um, and there's just a different type of energy that is going on. Many times this time of year can be extremely stressful. Sometimes it's because of needing, uh, with all the different activities and all the different things that we're invited into. Other times there may be the stress of presents, finding presents for a friend or a loved one, being concerned about the money that we're spending on those presents. Make Trying to make sure that we find the right gifts for those, or just going to family activities and all the different, everything seems to be at a little bit different pace once we hit December. So I've thought about what are some things that we can do to get the most out of this and minimize some of the distress that sometimes is associated with Christmas. Many times, it's being able to identify what are the things that I can control and what are the things that I don't have any influence over controlling. Um, Similar, the weather. We know that we don't have any control over the weather. We just have control over how we're going to prepare when we need to be outside or transitioning from inside to outside. And I think similar to this time of year, regardless of how we feel, as if it's something that we look forward to or something that we maybe at the other extreme feel like that we have to endure, I think the one thing that we can all benefit from is how can I be intentional during this time period? And what do I mean by intentional? Well, I mean being able to have some ideas of how would I like certain things to go? How would I like to be able to look back on this particular time period in January, looking back on this time period? So we know that we can't control how other people interact, and what other people do, but I can control um, what I what I focus on. I can control what actions, but most importantly, I can control and influence my attitude. So for me, there's been time periods in the past where the time from when the Christmas lights go up in the Christmas season, that because of the busyness of everything, it seems like it just goes by extremely fast. And then next thing you know, it's already over with. So, what are some things that I could do is to slow that down? So, for me, it is being able to savor those moments, like I said, with the Christmas lights, being able to know what things to say yes to. So, because I've said no to the things that it's probably better for me to say no to. Sometimes it's declining invitations, or being able just to focus on um, uh, certain activities that I know that are best for me to attend to. And I think the other aspect of it is that if I do say yes to going to a particular event, going to a particular activity, is that I make sure that I choose to be 100% wherever I'm at. So if I decide to go to an activity that is at a friend's house, or an activity to go see a particular play, that I make sure that wherever I'm at, I am just right there. I don't try to get something else going on or be thinking about somewhere else. That just try to just stay focused on wherever I'm at, fully be right there, being able to look at what new things I could do. Maybe it's going to see a particular light show, or going or lighting display, or going and doing something different for a present than I would have done in the past. Maybe if I have enough time, I can make something, or special out pick out a special gift for someone. A few years ago, maybe longer than that now, I started selecting books for certain members of our family. And I would go to the bookstore. Now there's only one option that we have, and I would physically go into the store. So I would go into Barnes and Noble, which is one of the few options that we have where I live. Um, and I would go up and down the aisles, identifying what look for a book that would best, I think, would best be a fit for the particular person that I was buying for. That it was very much for me a personalized gift that I was giving them, that I had thought and I contemplated, went back and forth with the books, and why I wanted it to be for that particular person. Diane does the majority of the shopping for our young adult kids, as well as a lot of the extended family members. So this particular ritual that I have of buying gifts for certain family members is, again, very personal. And for me, it's also being able to watch certain movies that we've watched many times before, and it's also watching other shows, or putting on Christmas music that reminds me of times before, as well as we create those new memories. But I think it all goes back to this idea of being intentional, making sure that you are fully aware of the choices that you're making sure that you be wherever you are, that is where you are, and really giving yourself permission just to be there and fully embrace it while you're there. Um, maybe resist the temptation of judging it at this point, because maybe it hasn't come all the way through. The more that we can be present in that moment, um, maybe the more that we can be able to savor that. And again, recognizing that it may be okay to say no to certain invitations, so that you could then fully say yes to the ones that you can be present to. Um, as always, whenever we talk about these things, even as I'm sharing these thoughts, I know that by the time this comes out, there'll be other things that I'm going to be thinking about regarding this. But um, for me, this time of year is reflective for me spiritually. It's reflective of from a family traditions, as well as traditions that I have with friends. But at the end, it comes back to me, for me, that spiritual connection of what does this time symbolically represent. And so, how can I fully be present to savor those little things throughout this time period? Unfortunately, soon enough, we will be post Christmas and in the midst of January. And so I think with intention and mindfulness and being just present where I'm at, I think I will have a better opportunity um, to have a highlight reel of this season that I will be able to reflect on in January. As always, thank you for listening. Please share any comments regarding today's conversation and reflection. And if you think there may be someone that may need to hear this, please pass it on to them. Look forward to being with you next week.